All right, so in this video, we're going to be learning how to figure out how much your item is worth before you list it on eBay. So I'm going to be going over those same 3 items I showed you in the last video. We're going to start out with the Apple TV 4K that I have right here. This thing is new, sealed, and boxed. And so it'll give you most of the info. Any electronics you get, it's going to have a model number on there. You can just type in that model number and look it up. And better yet, if you have a new sealed item like this and it has a barcode on it, you can actually just scan this and it's going to give you your exact model. But let's just do it the old-fashioned way. Let's flip over to my screen here. And at the top here, we're just at ebay.com. And we're going to search for Apple TV 4K. And ours is a 32 gigabyte. It says that right on the back of the box. And let's see what we find here. All right. So one really important thing, and this is a big mistake a lot of people make. They may be looking through here and they see all these items that are for sale. Now, we don't want to list items based off of what they are listed for. We want to list our items based off of what they are selling for. So I'm going to show you how to do that. If you go over here on the left-hand side, you're going to see that you can actually filter by sold items. This is very important. Make sure you always check sold items, what items are selling for, not what they're listed for. So over here, we can see that we have some selling. Now this is brand new in box, so we're going to click 4K because it's a 4K TV. And we're going to click new. There's all these conditions. It's very important. If you're going to search by new, make sure it's new, sealed, and boxed. If the item is in super good condition, it's not new. Don't ever sell an item as new because you will get returns if it is used. So this one is brand new, sealed, and boxed though, so we're going to filter by new. And this will show us the exact value of our item. So we can see right here, here's one that sold for $145. Here's another one that sold for $170. Another big important thing, if it doesn't automatically do it for you, search by ended recently up here in the filter results. And that will help you out greatly because you want to see what the items have been selling for recently. So let's keep going down here. Here's one that sold for $180, $175. So this is actually a pretty good item, $160, $144. So I said $150 in the other video, but this thing might actually sell for $160, $170. Well, here we go. Here's a bunch that sold for $144. So, you know, somewhere in that range of $150 upwards to $170, but a pretty good item to sell. Let's go to the next one. And I do want to tell you guys, this does take some practice. Like, I used to sit down and just appraise random items to figure out how much they're worth, because this is kind of a skill and an art form that you can just kind of master over time. Now I can appraise an item in like less than 20 seconds. I've got pretty good at it. All right, so let's look up this BB-8 droid. Like I said, if it has a barcode, you can always scan that barcode, but let's just look it up. This is a Sphero is the brand name, so we're going to type in Sphero. It's a BB-8 droid. There we go. We got that one right there. Let's see if there's anything else that we need to type in. I think that's it. So let's just search that. Let's type in droid too, just to give it a little bit more in the search results. So this is not a brand new item. So we need to go back over to filter and we need to unclick new and we need to switch it over to used. All right, so here we go. We're going to go to condition, go to used, and we're going to click apply. And now it's going to filter by only used items. So here we go. This item sold for $60. Here's one that went for $25 without the box. Here's one that went for $30. Here's one that went for $27. So maybe this item's actually worth less than I thought. $35, $60. So they're kind of all over the place. I'm going to list it for $50 and see what happens. I think I can get it. Here's $45 on both of these ones. So it's still selling for guaranteed over 40 just about, but I think I could get 50 if I take good clear pictures. Like here's one that went for $98. So these things are fluctuating all over the place. And this one's in really good shape. I only used it a couple of times. And, you know, I think I get $50 for it. So that's kind of, hopefully you guys can kind of see how I go about finding how much the item is worth. You're kind of taking an average of 3 listings, and you got to make sure that it's a comparable. Like some of these, you might click on this and it might have an issue with it. So you need to make sure you're listing it exactly how it is, the exact condition that it's in. So that's very, very important whenever you go to list. Let's go over to the Nintendo Wii and figure out what this thing's worth. Another great thing about electronics is they always have a serial number on the bottom. So if you don't really know what you have, you can just type in the serial number. So this is an RVL 101, and that's gonna pop up the Nintendo Wii. It's a Wii, it's black, and let's search by that. So same thing, we're going to go to sold listings and we're going to go to used condition. One really important thing, whenever you sell video game consoles or any type of electronics, make sure you're logging out of any accounts you have on there and make sure you're factory resetting the devices before you sell them. You know, it's pretty easy to do. You can just Google how to reset a Nintendo Wii if you're selling a phone, a tablet, laptop. You need to make sure you're doing that because you don't want your customer to get it and then they can't log out of the account or something like that and you get a return. So make sure you're logging out of any accounts before you sell any electronics. So here we go. The exact model I have a couple games as well as the controller and all the cords. So we can see here just the console and the cords it's selling for $65, $53, $50, but I have a game and some other stuff with it. So let's see here what we could get. I'm thinking I could probably get around $70 for it. I have 2 games with it. Here's one that went with 4 games for $85. The 2 games I have, they're nothing spectacular, but they are, you know, pretty decent games. So, you know, I'm thinking I could probably get around $70. Here's one that went for $60 with 1 game. Let's see, $82 just by itself. So it's kind of all over the place too as well. But I'm thinking I could easily get $70 for this thing, and you know, that's going to be a decent item to sell. So, you know, all 3 of these items, they meet that criteria. They're over $50 in value. They should ship pretty cheap because they're small, lightweight items. You know, even if this item only ends up selling for $60, it's still got to be worth it because I have very little money invested in this. So that's how you figure out how much your items are worth. Hopefully that video helped you out, but a couple tips for you guys. Please always make sure you look up only sold items. Never be optimistic about what your item could sell for, especially if you're buying to resell. Like, I would never pay like $30 or $40 for this to try to resell it for, you know, $60 or $70. It just wouldn't be worth the time to do that. So, you know, if you're gonna buy an item like this, buy it for like $10 and then flip it for $60 or $70. Then it's worth your time. Couple other tips, make sure you're actually looking up the exact condition of the item. Never be optimistic. Even if you only opened it and you never used it, you can't list it as new. You got to list that as used. So, you know, make sure you're just giving a very accurate description. That's what this next video is going to be all about, is how to list your item on eBay. We're finally there. We've figured out what items we're going to resell. We've figured out the value of it. Now is the exciting part where we're going to list the item on eBay. That's where we start making the money. So stay tuned for that next video. That's coming up next.